What is going on, people? We are back again with another The Family Chantel video. But before we get into it, let's start off by giving a big massive shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel, a member of Patreon, and a subscriber of the channel. But with that being said, though, it is episode 6 of season 4, which now happens to be most certainly the last season of The Family Chantel, with everything that's come out in the past week in terms of the divorce, the money, the DV. Like, honestly, it's been an absolute shiz show. But hey, let's get into this week's episode and let's see if there's anything that we can see that identifies the things that we are now we know happened in terms of them breaking up and stuff. But yeah, let's get it.
Never told me that Chantel came over to his place last night. She was upset, but she wouldn't say why. I think it's time for me to pay mi hijo a visit.
Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? We good?
If I find out that Pedro is mistreating Chantel, Pedro just might be getting his little ass kicked, right, though?
That's right. Hey, what's been going on, man?
No, not here working. As a regular, I was like, show you, made some appointment for tomorrow for one client.
Oh, okay. Well, sounds good.
You have anything to drink, man? Like, that'd be cool. Oh, okay. Hey, that's good, too. Listen.
I'm always driving. Am I driving today?
Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you. ¿Dónde es mi hija?
She's at work right now.
Oh, I see.
Man, Pedro, Chantel, she came over last night, man. I didn't see her that upset, you know what I mean? Because she didn't want to talk about it, you know? That's why we wanted to come talk to you about, because she didn't want to talk about it.
They can come anytime. Doesn't bother me, you know? Like, they're part of the family, you know? The problem was that they're not there for Dr. Chantel. They went there to talk to me. And they what kind of problem been going around between me and her. And I feel that that's not your business, yeah. What happens is that, Chantel have a couple of problems right now, you know what I mean? Like, Chantel being very lazy, you know what I mean? I need to push her all the time.
It looks pretty clean to me. I mean, it doesn't look like it's all that dirty.
So, look, the problem is, like, she's been in school for 5 years. I was helping her. House was clean. I washed her clothes, you know what I mean? But right now it's my time. She not having been the same thing to do it for her. She not been doing it for me right now.
So you feel like when she was in school, you were kind of, you put her first, then you let her do a thing, you was kept the house clean and stuff. But
yeah, bro.
So you're thinking right now it's your turn, and you're expecting her kind of like
be water, you know what I mean? Like,
Chantel's not you. She's not going to do it the way you did it. Chantel might not, I don't think she's that domestic, but that doesn't mean it can't get done. Come on into the 2022s. Nowadays, all the women do not just commit themselves to house cleaning and cooking. Did you marry a woman or did you want to marry a robot, a maid robot? I think Chantel and Pedro are having communication breakdowns.
They still need to learn what it is to be as one in a marriage. If Pedro was here in the United States, Chantel and Pedro might have dated for 2 or 3 years before they got married.
Right, and they might have been able to knock all those kinks out.
Would you be against a maid? Would you be against
That's
that?
what I was thinking.
wait, when I'm maid, like...
But you got 5 bedrooms and 4 baños.
I'm actually taken back, to be honest with you. I'm surprised that... Actually, no, I'm not surprised, to be fair. With the history of the family, it makes a lot of sense for Pedro coming out with all the things that he's coming out with. But to be honest with you, like, if you ask me personally, when it comes to this situation itself at hand, Pedro feels as if Chantel isn't living up to the same standard that he was living up to when she was out doing her things and he was at home. Okay. Do you know what? Actually, forget that. The parents have hit the nail on the head in terms of the fact that if Pedro had lived in the USA this whole time, or maybe they'd moved obviously to his country this whole time, maybe they would have actually given time to actually get to know each other before actually getting married. And the fact that these things are happening once they got married, that's a big problemo. And that's why I always say to people, like, you don't know what your partner's like until you actually live with them. Because once you live with someone, that's when you get to really know all of their bad traits and all of their good traits. And then that's where you have the conversations about things you need to compromise on, or some things that you might think, you know what, I can put up with it because it is what it is. And this is why I find it interesting when people decide to get engaged before even living together. And I also find it interesting when people then, I mean, this one's a bit of a different one because this one, I should not bond that, yeah. And I also find it interesting when people get pregnant, have children before living together too, because you really need to know what your partner's like first, before marriage, before kids. But of course, when it comes to kids, it can be a little bit sticky because sometimes some females will be on some contraception and it can still happen. And then sometimes things can even happen with the... I know that there's times when it's out of people's control where a woman can still get pregnant. That is an exception. The ones that you're taking no control, shame on you. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, though, let's continue.
No, she don't get ready for the kind of house, to take care of these simple things like this, how's she gonna take care of family?
A part of me wished that I was alone. I could just talk to them. We can talk just as guys, as friends. My mother being here was, I feel like he would have revealed a lot more to me. There's always three sides to the story: yours, mine, and the truth.
You need to learn how to take care of your family. If she's not learning how to take care of the house,
That is taking care of her family. There are new ways of taking care of your family these days. You stuck in the dark ages. I'm quite sure you can find some compromise.
she's a degree, you know what I mean? And she pushing me same thing, like, hey baby, you need to be good, you find a job, you're gaming all day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because I remember you were laying on your belly playing a video game. I remember.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, the point is like, I've been almost a year in this country and I haven't.
I think she has earned the right to be a little lazy and hire a maid.
We had the house together, okay?
Well, together you're going to hire a maid. Okay?
You know what though, this whole scene is just pointless anyway and very uncomfortable, because the grand scheme of it is that the whole family shouldn't be pulling up, well, the mother and son shouldn't be pulling up and ambushing him or confronting him personally. This is a conversation obviously between the two, and at the end of the day, this is how it works in a relationship. If the two people in a relationship can't have a conversation about something and can't come to a compromise or just can't get along, well then that's your side to say, okay, now I gotta part ways. If you gotta get if your family are gonna have now gotta get involved, that's already confirming that you now have to part ways. Good thing is we know they're parted ways, but the bottom line is this though. If your family or friends get involved in your relationship and they go and question your partner, at that moment in time is the moment in time that the person that's getting questioned just say, you know what, I'm out, peace. But again, like I said before that, the whole idea is to have communication between you and your partner. You haven't got communication, peace, I'm out. As simple as that. These things are such fundamentals. And the fact that Chantel's mum is there talking about blah, 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 she should be mature enough to not even turn up to the house. She should be mature enough to be like, listen, we'll let them do what they're going to do, okay? We'll let them go through their shit together, okay? And hopefully something good comes out of it. And if it doesn't, well, hopefully they can walk away out of it, in a peaceful way. But instead, she's there just basically making it worse. I mean, the little brother, I understand he's been a little brother. And to be fair, he should have really spoke to Pedro by himself, to be honest with you, And I think there would have probably been no harm in that, only because they actually have a relationship where they're actually quite close. And they could have had a general conversation, not a conversation of where they actually... it's actually about, Chantel's behavior or his behavior. It could have just been a general conversation about, hey man, so this happened, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, though, none of these things are being portrayed. And it all explains why they're not together anymore, right? Mm-hmm.
I can say no more about that, that's it.
Well, so we'll probably head out here, man.
I think they do need some marriage counseling. Or they could talk to Karen and myself.
Yeah, I think they need to talk to somebody like us for some advice, because nobody goes through a relationship that doesn't have challenges. What matters is, how do you deal with that? You can't sit back and do nothing in a marriage.
Right. And that's the key to anything. You have to be willing to work it out.
Yes.
Funny how Karen can say wise things in the cutscene, but can't say wise things but I can't actually either one, say wise things to Pedro and Chantel, or most importantly, just keep herself out of it. Simple as 1, 2, 3. Interesting, isn't it? Instigator, sabotager. Well, her name is Karen.
Nicole doesn't like surprises, but I'm not going to give up. I'm showing up at her job because I cannot go to her house due to Lydia. So I will attempt to wait for her outside of her office. There's love between us, and I really hope that I can marry Nicole one day. I'm gonna fight for this relationship. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Por qué es tan fea? ¿Qué tienen? Quise venir a verte y hablar contigo.
Ay, Alejandro, llévate esta flor tan fea.
Nicole, pero no me trates así, por Dios. ¿Cómo tú vas?
Yo me voy.
Espérate, muchas
No
gracias.
me interesa hablar contigo.
Vine desde lejos por ti.
¿Y quién te dijo que viniera?
Pero, Nicole, pero yo estoy tratando de realmente de reconciliarme contigo y hacer un esfuerzo porque...
No hay reconciliación.
Claro que sí, pero
Vale,
muchachos, por
perfecto.
lo menos coge las flores, tómalas.
Vamos a este trapo de flores.
I don't really care what's really happening in their relationship, to be honest with you, because the matter of fact is he knows that she doesn't like surprises. But yet he goes and surprises anyway. And in fact, he pretty much goes and stalks her at her freaking workplace. That's twice now he has basically interfered with her at her workplace. This time he's actually waited outside for her. That is low-key legit stalking. That is 100% creepy. Doesn't matter if you're an ex or not. What are you doing? She doesn't want to know who you are, doesn't want to speak to you, she's blocking you off, and yet you're still doing things that you know she's not going to like. Doesn't like surprises. She didn't like when I turned up to her work last time. But you know what? I'm gonna turn up to her work anyway. I'm gonna wait outside like a freaking creep. Wow. Talk about set a standard that's too low for yourself. What a fool. I'm not surprised that she threw the flowers on the floor. Why would she take it for someone who's a creepy ex at this point? Move on. She doesn't want you, bro.
Alejandro haya venido a Santo Domingo para mí es patético, porque presionarme. Quítate un poco el perfume. Sé la suerte de todo.
Vamos a aliviar hoy para que no te moleste. ¿Tú crees que podemos, qué sé yo, beber un cafecito que sea diminuto?
No.
Bueno, pues yo no te voy a dejar entrar en tu carro. Yo no voy aquí hasta que te arreglemos esta situación.
No, es que no hay arreglo.
Sí hay arreglo, porque yo estoy tratando de arreglar todo. Y ya, por ejemplo, yo le pongo Coraima.
Es muy molesto cuando tú tienes que estarle hablando y llamando amigas mías.
Buscar una solución a nuestros problemas.
A mí no me importa, tú puedes hablar con el diablo. Yo sé que no quiero estar contigo. No voy a decir.
Can someone please explain to me how his behavior is acceptable? Man fully just said, I won't leave you. Nah. This ain't it. This ain't it. Ladies and gentlemen, please. If someone doesn't want to be with you no more, then they don't want to be with you. Go find someone else that actually wants to be with you. No one should be begging, trying to convince someone to take them back. That is one of the most saddest and most pathetic things going ever. Because no matter the fact is that person has said, no, we're not here, if somebody breaks off of you, take it as a breakup, that's it. Go find someone else. There's no point in trying to get back with someone that you've already upset, or they've upset you, or there's a toxic situation between you two. You move on. Now, of course, is there anything wrong with getting back with your ex? Well, if it's after a couple of years where you just happen to bump into each other and you happen to have a conversation and things feel like as if you both progressed, you know what? Why not? But when that hasn't happened and there's been no change on either one of your sides, no progressions be made in any kind of way, well then, move on. Jesus.
No, pasamos en esos 2 años. Era como el ciclo del idiota. ¿Tú no sabes lo que significa cuando 2 gente terminan? Ya, terminamos. Realmente.
¿Qué tú estás haciendo?
Mira. Mamá tiene razón en todo lo que ella dice sobre ti. Que tú no vales la pena. Y que casarme contigo sería el peor error que yo pudiera cometer en mi vida.
Tu mamá no tiene nada que ver con nuestra relación. Tu mamá te puso a Chantal y Pedro y Chantal están juntos todavía.
Y los problemas de Chantal son otros. Mi mamá a ti no te quiere y yo, de verdad, yo no voy a tener más pelea con mi mamá por una persona como tú que no vale la pena.
2 things. one, she just said that marrying would be the worst thing ever. That's another reason to add on to many reasons of why United need to walk away and just pee off. P-I-S-S off, you know what I mean? And bringing in Chantel and Pedro into the conversation is got to be one of the dumbest things ever. So you're going to bring in another toxic relationship in comparison to your relationship. So basically you're saying that it's okay to be toxic because everyone else is doing it. But guess what, buddy? Chantel and Pedro are now officially over. So you using that as a reason here was clearly a dumbass move. But hey, the fact that he didn't know that is even more embarrassing. Just for people just say stupid things.
Ábreme la puerta.
Abre la puerta.
¿Puerta? ¿En serio? Por favor, déjame entrar. Tú me das una chance de por lo menos platicar con amigos entonces. Porque me voy a montar atrás.
This has got to be one of the most uncomfortable scenes so far this season. Like, turns up to her work, waits outside, then follows her to her car. She tells him multiple times no. Then she proceeds to get in the car, and then now he's begging for her to let him in the car. However you got to the workplace is how you should get back home to wherever you're going. The persistentness is actually beyond creepy. And the matter of fact, I would not advise any woman, even any man, pardon me, to let an ex in their car. If they were able to get to that point without a car, they can find a way back without it. Nah. This kind of behavior, unacceptable. Nah, we ain't doing this. Nah. I don't know what TLC are playing at, because this is probably scripted anyway, but this ain't it. Nah. And I hate to say it, but I'll say it. But I won't be surprised if at some point we hear something happening. If we was to hear something in the next couple of days, months, years, whatever, where Alejandro and Nicole have gone through some sort of domestic situation, I wouldn't be surprised. Because this right here is borderline like tendencies of that. Not allowing her to leave. Begging to then be in her car. Saying that though, she probably gave him a lift because the producers didn't want to drive him home. They couldn't bear his ass.
Because I wanted to get out of the situation so that I could just have somewhere to sleep. But I didn't want to sleep in that bed because the bed
felt like it was on fire. It's like you can't sleep because it feels like it's literally on fire. I'm making you dinner, just like you love it.
I don't ask you for dinner. Your mom and your brother coming by. You know that?
Oh, ¿para qué?
Ask me about it. What happened yesterday? Yep. There's one explanation why you went out to his house yesterday. Are you the only person mean over here?
Yes,
You're not mean.
I'm still making you a pizza. I'm happy that you finally had a meaningful conversation with my mom. You've been having meaningful conversations with everybody but me. I ask you how you're doing. You say, how do you think I'm doing? I'm doing the same thing I do every day. Mean. You can talk to your coworkers with respect.
When you bring that respect in the table, don't call me with a boy, okay?
Have I said a curse word to you today?
No. I said boy.
Have
Okay.
I said a curse word to you today?
No.
Talk to me from a place of love. Have I imagined the man that you were for so long and overlook who you really were? Have I imagined that you were loving and kind and treated me like a queen? When did I get to the point where my husband comes home at 3 a.m. and I don't know where he's been? Is it because you got everything that you could get from me and now I've run dry? You got your visa, you got your money, you got your job, and you're ready to fly the coop?
My own wife told me that I've been using her for papers all the time. It's how that possible. She want to do those laws blow all the time. Like, I bring to this country, you need to respect me, you know. And the fact, you know, that we're treated like that, you know, like a thing, like a property all the time, that's a low blow.
You know, Pedro, if you spoke to your wife with respect and you spoke to her as if she was actually your wife and as if you actually respected her, maybe these scenarios wouldn't be happening. Maybe this thought process wouldn't be happening in her mind, because the matter of the fact is, first and foremost, she asked you, did anyone use a curse word? No, they did not. So while you're doing it, no idea. And then also on top of that, she's made it abundantly clear that you can have a conversation with everyone else but your own wife. She's also made it clear that you go out and you come back at dumb o'clock and you don't even notify her that you're going to be back at dumb o'clock. You just do as you want, when you want. So at the end of the day, you can surely understand all the things that you're doing. It can only make sense why she's going to now start to believe what she's believing in terms of you and the papers. He can talk about it being a low blow all he likes, but the matter of fact is he's been taking low blows at Chantel since the last episode. In fact, since the last couple of episodes. So it's interesting how he can treat her one way, but then when she comes in with something powerful in his eyes, all of a sudden, oh no, that's not acceptable. Very interesting, isn't it? Pedro, I'm gonna lie to you. You are a scum bag. Yep. Anyway, let's continue.
You say the same all the time.
You're mean.
Okay.
Don't play me.
I don't play you. You kidding me?
Don't play me.
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay. Think whatever you want, okay?
Okay, and whose sparkly bottle is this? It's not mine. Whose sparkly bottle is this, Pedro? Whose is this? It's not mine.
Why you believe that all they're doing, I've been doing it for you?
You're leaving items in the house that don't belong to me. When I ask you where you're going, you're telling me it's none of my business, and you're coming home drunk, and you're leaving your car places. One night, I was off work the entire day, clean the house, and start to cook, and I called you at 8:30 to ask you where you were, and you're taking her from the car mechanic. You're basically her do boy, and you're at her every time. You're just leaving it to my imagination to run wild, Pedro.
Oh, trust me. That's it.
Are you cheating on me? Are you cheating on me?
No, I'm not cheating on you. Before I got say, we cheated on you, I left the house a long time ago. Why? Because my coworkers are women. Really, I spend time with my friends, you know, with my coworkers, and then they cheating on you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to feel, because that's not love for me.
I am your wife, and I need to know where you're going, and none of your business is not an answer.
As far as I'm concerned, the only time you use the comment of none of your business is if you got something nice planned that's going to be a surprise for your woman. But would I say none of your business? Hell to the frickin' no, because that will raise real suspicions. Only a donor would think that it's okay to say to his woman, none of your business, and not think that she's going to now be paranoid or suspicious of your behavior. Ha! Man, you just got to create a white light at that point. You know what I mean? Okay? Saying none of your business is just way too far, way too rude, and way too disrespectful. But the fact is, though, Pedro has done a very good job at being disrespectful towards Chantel for a very long time. But hey, you know what they say, right? Some boys never become men. Age ain't nothing but a number. You ain't never using your maturity to actually mature yourself. No, if you ain't never using your experiences to actually mature yourself. But of course, age is a number. If you're thinking about doing something that is inappropriately disgusting, underage type stuff, then age is definitely a number. Just want to put that out there in case someone decides to be a smart ass and says, no, actually age is a number, because if you actually was to go into a relationship with someone, yeah, I've just cancelled that out real quick, so calm yourself down. Age ain't nothing but a number when it comes to maturity. That is it. There you go. Boom, bam. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's talk about the cheater accusation. Yeah, this motherfucker be cheating. That reaction said cheating all over to me. And even Chantel felt it. She was like, when dead silent, she was like, yep. This motherfucker be cheating. I mean, ladies, if you're your man, and you know he gets girl done, you know he gets bare gal, and he ain't giving you no D. He's got someone else. The question is though, is he cheating you with a female, or is he cheating you with a man? Because there's a lot of men out here, allegedly straight, in marriages, who are allegedly curious to try out sexual contacts with a man. But don't worry, they're not gay, they're just experimenting. Watch out for them ones. Those are the sneaky ones. You know what I mean? Ladies, you need to start figuring out whether if your man's with you because he's actually with you, or if he's with you because he's trying to hide his true identity. They would think. Trust me, what I know. I had someone slide in my DM one time. Only trying to convince me. I was like, no, bro, I am not gay. He was like, listen, I sleep with married men all the time. And I was like, well, that's good for you. He was like, listen, me doing it doesn't make you gay, okay? Just a little bit of fun. Oh, is it now? Oh, that's nice. But yeah, I like females though. So no, I'm good. I think you gotta be careful. Nowadays, when you think about cheating, if you think your man is cheating on you, don't think it's a female necessarily. Remember that. Madzie told you. Anyway, let's continue.
Pedro and I are not in a good place right now. We have zero communication. We don't talk. We see each other in passing and nobody says a thing. And on top of that, my family members, River and my mom, have been over to talk to Pedro without my permission. I'm upset with my family that they came to my house unannounced to talk to my husband. Hi, what are you doing here, unannounced?
I came to see you.
Well, you could let me know. I just got off work.
Sorry.
Why didn't my family come to me first? That's my thing. Is River coming?
Not that I know of.
Okay. I don't want them to learn anything that's going to jeopardize their opinion of my husband. So what are you doing here?
I came to chat.
I know that you've already been talking to Pedro.
Yes, I have been talking to Pedro.
Why?
Well, first of all, did you not leave this house and spirit over there to your brother's apartment?
Well, let me tell you something. Although you are meaning well, you cannot come to my house and talk to my husband about our relationship. Would do such a thing after the last time you showed up unannounced.
And why not? What
because you brought a taser and was clicking it all over the place.
Hold on, Pedro.
Yeah.
On the island.
Yeah, what is that?
Don't hurt yourself.
So in a nutshell, Karen continues to be a Karen. Never wants to learn from her lessons. She wants to keep making things more and more difficult for her daughter. How her husband has tolerated her, I have no idea. But anyway, let's continue.
Thank you.
Well, you should have told me that that's what your plan was.
Well,
and I would have stopped you.
Well, you should be thanking me. I'm doing my motherly duties and my mother-in-law duties. Why is it that I had to come over here in my kimono to find out what is going on here? You could have told me. I'm a little upset.
Well, no,
about
I'm
that.
not telling anybody because I have to make decisions for myself and I need to figure things out on my own.
He said that he is upset because he wants you to clean the house and clean 4 bathrooms.
I know.
And he wants you to cook dinner every day when he gets off work. And then he said you were lazy. The boy that plays video games twiddling his toes, laying around on his belly, called you lazy.
And I think he's lazy.
Listen, I tried to set your husband straight because I don't think it's fair for you to be in that hospital working like you're working and then for him to expect for 4 days that you have off for you to come here and clean and cook and do all this crazy
It's
stuff.
not fair.
It's not fair.
I clean all day at work.
See, that's what I'm saying. You know, Pedro doesn't understand.
I clean bodies.
Right.
I clean poopy floors. And on top of everything, people are dying. It's a high-stress job.
We need to sit down and talk to Pedro and let him know exactly how it is when you go to work. That's where we need to set him straight.
Well, I don't want you involved
Why?
because it's overstepping boundaries. Boundaries.
I don't know boundaries.
Now that my family is concerned, I need to get a 30-foot pole to keep them out of my relationship.
Yo no hablamos boundaries.
Well, you're gonna learn some boundaries. My parents do have reason to be concerned. Pedro treats me with all of this hatred, talking down on me, mocking me, trying to get a rise out of me.
You guys can get over this. This is not even that big a deal. It's just a misunderstanding on his behalf.
But I don't want them to know that, at least for now.
You know, Chantel's mother is the reason why I would never get in a relationship with Chantel. Can't be doing none of this family intrusion. You are not a part of the relationship. Me, your daughter are in the relationship, so me, your daughter, which is A and B, are a part of the relationship, so you can see yourself out. You like that, right? Yeah? Okay, whatever. But the fact is this, though. At least Chantel has made it clear that she doesn't want her mum involved. And this problem is something that needs to be solved between the two only. And I don't know how the mum doesn't want to process that. Honestly, you should be old enough to understand that that is how a relationship works. End of the day, whatever relationships struggles that she's been through with her husband, she should know that they only got through them. I would like to imagine just them two. If there was outside interference, well, unless it was counseling, then fair enough. But if it's not counseling, there's always going to be a bias if it's a family member, point blank, period. But nonetheless, that is all for this week, folks. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll catch you guys in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and peace.